to the Steady Show, everybody. It's going to be a live show tonight. It's going to be a late show. That's exactly what I meant to say, family. So I decided that I was going to do this show today to talk about how Andrew Holness did the rope a dope and then he delivered the knockout punch to Mark Golding. But family, I ended up falling asleep right after I did my preparations. But I do have some notes that I had made, so I want to share that regardless of how late it is. Hey, Beverly, how you doing? Greetings to everybody that will be joining the show. It's going to be a late show, family. You know, we've done a couple of late shows, recently. I'm always telling you, say, there are certain shows that I'm going to forward. I'm going to do them show there. I'm going to do them the show there, regardless of if anybody gets to show up or if it's late or whatever. Hey, Donald, how you doing? Listen to me, man. Dr. Andrew Holness did the rope-a-dope and he delivered the knockout punch to Mark Golding last night. Show our labor rights. Oh, my God, watch out. People there. Listen, family, I know that you all know that there is no way that something like this could have happened and the steady no forward and talk about it. Oh, no, say something must have gone wrong or maybe something is right. Because steady is going to have a different spin. I see Electro in the building. I see Donich in the building. I see Carol in the building. Anybody that is there right now, let me know. I see Melvita in the building saying happy Sabbath. Happy Sabbath to you too, Melvita. So listen, this is one of those shows in which I have to just come and I'm just gonna have to punch. But family, what a piece of debate last night. Listen, Andrew Holness did such an amazing job. Big up my friend Jamaica 87. Dr. Andrew Holness did such an amazing job of knocking out Mark Golding last night that of all the three debates, this is the only debate that I have not even put up a closing speech for. You understand me? I did not even have to focus on the many jabs, the many punches that Andrew Holness put at Mark Golding. I could have done a whole video today. I could have done an entire video today just focusing on how Andrew Holness kept knocking Mark Golding. But I said, no, I know that everybody will be dealing with that. Listen, I put up the same video on Facebook. Everybody liking and sharing the video. I put up the same video on TikTok, everybody liking it. So that explains the strategy behind those shorter videos. But guess what? It's very late, and I'm not going to keep y'all waiting because it's some of y'all bedtime. I also noticed that, there's a live conference going on right now. But this is what we call a messaging show, family. A messaging show means that if I turn on the camera and everybody gone at them bed, it is this important because if you notice, things change on the news cycle very fast. Yeah? We have a few days to the election, 5 days right now? So a lot of madness. Only realize what happened today, right? All kind of BOMB threats flying all over Jamaica, trying to create distractions. And we see the media play already. But family, the way Dr. Andrew Holness deal with Mark Golding last night, I want to explain to you what I call the rope-a-dope. I'm going to ask of you that if you're a laborite, you're a supporter of the Steady Show, go ahead and double tap your screen twice. When you double tap your screen twice like this, it simply means that it will register as a like. If that doesn't work, go ahead and hit the three dots at the top right hand of your screen, and those three dots, it will register as a like. I want it. Is it four taps? Is it 3 taps? Richard Muirhead. All right, I'm watching you. You understand me? So go ahead and hit the like button, double tap twice on your screen, and then hit the three dots at the top right-hand corner if that doesn't work. But family, I want to talk about what I saw as the rope a dope, because listen, if any of us thought that we knew Andrew Holness, if we thought we knew his true capabilities, I am telling you, any failure that we would have been stupid enough to allow to cause this prime minister not to go back to the third term, I'm telling you, it would have been worse than the mistake we made in 1972. It would have been worse than the mistake we made in 1989. But let's talk about the rope a dope first. And I didn't make notes of everything, but I made enough notes so you can understand. By the way, one of the things you can do is you can go ahead and put in the chat what was your favorite part of that debate last night. By the way, it's very late right now. Yeah? It's literally 9:41, and I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat. So it tells me that the people know, and the people, excuse me, the people love and they respect the steady show. So enough love for that. I don't want to forget. But I'm going to do this one real quick, fam. I don't want people to fall asleep. So what was the rope a dope? Family, let us go to the beginning of this whole conversation. Right? That opening question by Dean Jackson Miller, you know, it was a rat trap that Dean Jackson Miller set, you know, for Dr. Andrew Holness, you know, by asking him what you call a loaded question. That question about, you know, hostility, for want of a better term, of the Dr. Andrew Holness administration against oversight bodies, blah, 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 blah. Loaded question. Any of us would have listened to that question, I would have go like, you see that woman here? And I'm not going to talk about the rest. Let us stay focused. Right? Family, remember Andrew had his 90, he had his 90 seconds to respond to the question? When he did, and you all heard me play it today, and I did it, Andrew Holness basically said, listen, we don't have nothing against no oversight body. There has been no hostility towards them. As a matter of fact, we have done everything to strengthen them, and we approve this integrity commission and whatever to come into being. We did that, so we don't have no hostility. Andrew Holness then, listen to the rope a dope and listen to the rat trap, you know. So Dion set the rat trap for Dr. Andrew Holness. But Dr. Andrew Holness said, I am not a rat. The only rat that we have on the stage is Big Rat Mark Golden. Talk to me and hit the like button if I'm talking to you. Right? Andrew Holness allowed a lot of time on the clock. So they said, now Mark Golden, you have your time to respond. And what did Mark Golden do? Mark Golden, on the first question of the debate, based on the rope-a-dope strategy that Dr. Andrew Holness used, running on the whole thing with him usual talking point, which everybody, their mama, their granny, and everybody knows, said that is exactly what Mark Golden was going to come and talk to the people about. He was going to talk about illicit enrichment, 28 bank accounts, hostility towards oversight bodies, especially the Integrity Commission. Because family, you see, for the life of me, Mark Golden doesn't seem to understand his role as the leader of the opposition or as a politician. This man has taken the Integrity Commission as his own. Everywhere I'm going to talk about Integrity Commission, and him write it in a manifesto, they're going to go ahead and they're going to amend it. So Mark Golden run out on the thing, and him thing said that was his strong point, but no, that was the rope-a-dope Andrew did. The rope-a-dope is, don't defend yourself because we know what the facts are saying in the public domain. We know there are no 28 bank accounts. Andrew did not walk into the rat trap. So I heard a lot of commentators talk about Andrew Holness was a little nervous and shaky at the beginning. No, I disagree. It was a deliberate trap that Dr. Andrew Holness set for Mark Golding, right? And him allow Mark Golding to literally throw his biggest punches first. Now, family, we've heard this before. They've been talking about it on every campaign. It's been in the media and everything. So we expected Mark Golding to forward with something new. He did not. He went with the same old thing. Once Mark Golding got that out the way in the family, it was pure hell for him after that. So let us go. So that was the rope-a-dope. That was the rat trap. So Mark Golding, the big fat rat, got caught in Dr. Andrew Holness's trap. Brilliant move by Dr. Andrew Holness. Show our labor rights. All my equipment are not working tonight, but I'm going to go through. That was it, family. Him set him up to land him biggest punches first. That's what the rope-a-dope is. Let them punch you first. Dean Dr. Miller tried to set up Dr. Andrew Holness with that loaded question. Big up to everybody, Ricardo and everybody, right? Somebody said, that is all him have to talk about. Exactly. I'm interacting with the chat now because y'all get it. You understand me? He was just shaking like he had Alzheimer's or something like that. Exactly. Now, a lot of things we can talk about on this, you know. I could have spent the entire show talking about the shakiness, the nervousness. But I noticed something when I was rewatching the show today. Does anybody realize how much Mark Golding's eyes were just blinking? When he's talking, he's blinking. He not look, he not make eye contact with anybody. In particular, Rose Henry said, exactly steady. I picked up that too. So the commentators don't know what they're talking about. I'm telling you, today, I had to put a post out there, Rose Henry, on Facebook, and the post said, 6 days before an election, Mark Golding got up on stage and showed us a document which appeared to be a birth certificate, an old birth certificate, and everybody know what we think about that already, right? Also, he got up on the stage and told one bagger lie. Listen, if we never know, say Mark Golding did lie before, which I knew, and it is the fact that Mark Golding is so lie why I generally don't play his voice on my show, right? The only time I really play Mark Golding's voice on my show is when I'm going to react directly to something he has to say. Because I did talk about this the other day. I said, listen, I'm the type of individual, once me realize say I all lie, I don't know. I once me realize say you don't respect me enough to speak the truth and to be truthful. If you're not a man enough to be truthful, there is no way that I'm going to listen to anything that you have to say, because lying is one of the biggest forms of disrespect. You understand me? There is. Our notes them gone. You understand me? Let's get back to my notes. Where are my notes? All right, so my notes them right here. So, you know, I don't usually make notes, but I had to do this one, right? Well, a lot of times. So that was the rope-a-dope effect, right? Now, hear this. I don't think Mark Golding was ready for the first question that they asked him again, you know. You understand me? The $3.5 million question. Now, the gentleman threw in a name in the conversation. He said, Keith Duncan, the man behind Epoch, you understand me, who was there when the bipartisan agreement was made during the Portia Simpson Miller period. You understand me? Out of something that really started on the Bruce Golding, right? Once that the man they say, the 3.5 mil plan is not realistic. Mark Golding, and everybody knows say, that the mandate is like the law when it comes on to, you understand me, the guidelines that both parties must follow when it comes on to, you know, ensuring that we stay fiscally prudent. Something PNP never know nothing about. So PNP and Mark Golding keep trying to convince people that fiscal prudency began under their watch. And to some extent, you understand me? That was when certain agreements were signed. So we understand what he's trying to do there as a politician. But in essence, this was already set up through Bruce Golding, those policies. They put in, that's why I'm talking about the tight belt and they talk about all of that stuff, right? But once that the man is realistic, so once that name came into being, now what did Mark Golding do? The 3.5 mil threshold, it's been the biggest shocker to many of us. Not because we think it's an amazing thing, but because Mark Golding and Julia and them, they've been barefaced enough. And you see the thing that I play with Dr. Nigel Clark. I have to talk about this, right? When Dr. Nigel Clark talk about the fact that in 2023, Mark Golding came up with the whole idea. Since they, as usual, didn't have no ideas of his own, that we must do 40% increase on the income tax threshold. No analysis, no costing, no numbers. Mark Golding came back 4 months with it. This is a question Dr. Dana Dixon set him up with, And I did that with Julian. Again, that's a video that has gone viral everywhere again. Right? No numbers, no costing, no analysis. So essentially, they never really thought about this. They just wanted, it was just another tactic they used. He announced this from a debate stage. As a matter of fact, I was talking to somebody today, and the point of view they share is that the reason Julian was so angry when he was at the debate, right, is because having announced the 3.5, Julian, now as Minister of Finance, was now angry because him knows Mark Golding them put him in a one position where him couldn't explain this sudden 3.5. So we know the economists and we know everybody said. We know it's unrealistic. Dr. Andrew Holness also took time to shoot it down. But let's get back to the real talking points, right? That I had planned just to stay on track and to get us over with, to get this one over with quickly, right? Mark Golding could not justify. So you're telling me that you're campaigning on 3.5. My understanding, because I got some voice notes today and people are giving different opinions on it. And basically they're saying that, and this is going to come down to the 3.5. That's what it's going to come down to, right? But the thing is that they can't explain it. And this is what I've been saying all along, is that the PNP has a way of putting things on paper that they have no intention of carrying out. Needless to say, I did a compilation of Dr. Andrew Holness's talking points today. And that's a 3-minute thing. So for those who may have missed the debate, I probably could take time out to play it because there are some things he might say that might help. Right? So let us see if we can play that. Because as I said before, sometimes my speakers, they give some little problems and little things happen here and there and blah, 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 right? But Julian couldn't explain it. Mark Golding couldn't explain it. So you're telling me that unlike Dr. Andrew Holness, when they came up with the whole thing in 2016, right? And it shook the entire nation because even though they had their doubts initially, right? Clearly, you understand me? It's something that they could have done, they could have passed. So you're telling me that Mark Golding and the PNP really decide, say, them going forward and then try now to steal the JLP's idea in front of the entire nation on stage, you understand me? And expect to get away with it? No way at all. Flip flop. Let me play this one real quick for the family.
No attempt by my administration and indeed myself to undermine any oversight body. Sure. It is the Jamaica Labour Party that
One second.
the increase in the non-tax threshold that recreated a middle class in Jamaica. In fact, when you look at the salary profile of PAYE contributors, you would see that their salaries have all risen. It is a Jamaica Labour Party through the competently no attempt by my administration and indeed myself to undermine any oversight body. Sure. It is a Jamaica Labour Party that introduced the increase in the non-tax threshold that recreated a middle class in Jamaica. In fact, when you look at the salary profile of PAYE contributors, you would see that their salaries have all risen. It is a Jamaica Labour Party through the compensation review that has increased salaries by over 200 billion Jamaican dollars for public sector workers. The current proposal of the PNP is unworkable. With an expert forensic auditor, the findings of that report have suggested no corruption. There have been no charges.
Dr. Holness has...
there is a song which says, when the rum tells you you're a big dancer.
I love that point.
Know what the leader of the opposition was drinking. Firstly, the debt to GDP for this fiscal year is not projected to be 60%. It is projected to be 65% thereabout.
Mark Boland, me switch.
If the leader of the opposition is depending on growth to provide the revenues for $75 billion of expenditure, the country would have to grow between 8 and 10%.
It's nothing but a Sam 5 political scam.
Sure. Which has not done that since the 60s.
In May 2023, the leader of the opposition declared that Jamaica's income tax threshold should be increased by 40% to 2.1 million. No numbers, no analysis, no costing.
Things don't look good, man.
4 months later, in September 2023, 4 months later, he changes his mind, flip-flop again, calling instead for a 100% increase in the income tax threshold.
God almighty.
Again, no numbers, no analysis, no costing. Them just a wing it, Madam Speaker. Unprincipled positions, shifting in the wind, flip-flop, flip-flop.
I feel so ashamed of Mark Gordon.
The promises from the opposition will create FinSAC 2.0.
So, of course, I put in the whole heap of vibes and the thing and whatever. You understand me? I said to you. But, yes, Rose, I like to do that because, as Jamaicans, it's like when we hear anything that's truthful and anything that resonates, we make noise and we go along bad because we say, yes! You remember back in the day, we saw say, lick him, shrimpy. You understand me? So, I'm only seeing 58 likes right now. So I imagine that is as a PNP. But if you're a JLP and you're here, go ahead and hit the like button. You understand me? So let's get back on track now, right? So Mark Golding got hit, couldn't sell a 3.5 mil situation. So call out as a scam, call out as not being credible. Now, let's talk about this real quick, right? Because I'm going off track a little bit, right? One of the biggest moments for me in this debate, and perhaps one of the most significant, and if not even the most significant moment in this debate, was when Mark Golding tried the foolishness. Andrew Holness got him out. Several times Mark Golding tried to forward back into the conversation with his false claims of corruption, right? Hold that this up. Andrew Holness said to Dr. Andrew Holness said to Mark Golding, so all right, you are the one who's been accused by the OCG, or you've been charged, basically saying that you benefited from sweetheart deals, you understand me, which was really corruption, and you benefited off the backs of poor people in this country. The OCG was the Integrity Commission of the day, right? When Mark Golding had 45 seconds to answer to this claim, which is not just a claim, but this factual situation. If you go ahead and you Google Audley Shaw versus DB&G OCG case, you will see it is a 100 110-page document. That's something I've talked about over and over and over. By the way, for anybody who's been watching the Steady Show, I don't know the Steady Show been on the right track, because for the last year, the things that we've made sure that we've kept in check, how we educate the audience about, is the fact that the Integrity Commission really has no integrity. We talk about Mark Golden's OCG case, and we talk about FinSAC. And all of those things turned out to be some of the key things that the JLP start to hit them with. So it tells you that Steady has been on point in terms of looking at the history of the PNP and understanding, you understand me, where the JLP need to be looking in order now to make sure, say, they're connecting with the Jamaica people, and that they go back now and them connect back FinSAC with the very same people who benefited off FinSAC, who now are trying to run the government. It doesn't make no sense. So family, hear the argument now. So if Andrew Holness was able to prove that Mark Golden was indeed corrupt, because that's what he said without saying it, you know. You see what I said to you? If Andrew Holness was able to do that, and Mark Golden was unable to defend his record, then it simply means that all of this talk about 28 bank accounts, illicit enrichment, all of this has been nothing but political gimmickry. Dr. Tufton did the same thing with Peter Bunting on stage. So big up to Dr. Tufton, big up to Tuffy. You understand me? Big up to Tuffy, who also brought the same thing to Peter Bunting. And of course, Peter Bunting tried to lie. It's a public traded company. But we're saying, no, the OCG with the same Greg Christie who was a part of this Integrity Commission. So all of this is telling you the level at which PNP is full of corruption and deceit. So the fact that Mark Golden could not defend himself, not against stuff that was just investigated, such as in Andrew Holness' cases where they investigate him and then they find nothing. In Mark Golden's case, they found something that's highly improper and irregular. In other words, corruption. They benefited from corruption. We've seen the receipts about those transactions. It tells me, and I know the Blue Dot polls is there, but thank you very much. Let's talk about it. Somebody said Blue Dot polls out on NNN. 46% JLP, 33% PNP. Thank you very much. Because we know that those polls, those done under the polls, even though Mr. Them come up with one now, they say we have a 6-point lead. Now, what percentage lead do we have right now? You understand me? I said to you? But you can tell me, because I never got to look at it. Like I say, I fell asleep, right? So, thank you for bringing that up. But what I say is that Mark Golden couldn't sell 3.5, keep on track, he couldn't sell the 3.5. He could not prove corruption in Andrew Holness' case. Andrew Holness did not take the bait. Tuffy dumped it roughy. I'm telling you, Rose Henry did. You understand me? Tuffy mash him up. But hear me, I say, no, family. Just focus with me. Mark Golden could not prove that Andrew is corrupt. Dean Jackson Miller's question about, being hostile towards public oversight bodies and civil groups or whatever. Andrew Holness did not take that bait. Andrew Holness make Mark Golden take the bait when he did not give a long answer. He gave a brief or a short answer to that question. Mark Golden running with his claims, played his card out early. Does anybody realize that after a certain while, Mark Golden looked tired? Him looked flustered. At one point, may I say, is this a debate or is it an Andrew Holness interview? It's almost as if Mark Golden cowered down to the point where he never had anything else to say. He was just standing through. And then Andrew started beat him. Andrew beat him about the constitutional reform, say him a hold up the process. We heard it on Nationwide. And somebody say on Nationwide that this whole thing about, somebody said Nationwide 5 p.m., YouTube, more undecided jumping off the fence for JLP. St. Elizabeth looking green. Thank you. By the way, family, this is the time now where if there is anything I never spoke about, let's throw them in the comments and let's talk about this because time is already against us. You understand me? But family, I thought that was interesting and we needed to pay attention to it. The next thing again, they're talking about Mark Golding had a big moment when he came on to this whole paper that he pulled out on stage because until we can ascertain that Mark Golding really was able to obtain a passport using that kind of document, you understand me, then we have doubts. We have doubts about that. You understand me? Somebody made a point today. We want to see what birth certificate was used to obtain Mark Golding's visa to go to the UK, or is it that he just travels on his UK visa that he got compliments and father, right? So when Mark Golding pull out a piece of paper on stage and they're talking about this is a big deal, it's not a big deal. We need to have more standards than that. We need somebody to say steady. He doesn't own a home in Jamaica. Thank you very much. By the way, this is the time now to pull out all the lines that Dr. Andrew Holness used. Now, if Mark Golding doesn't have, and I can just wing it, you understand me as we go. So if Mark Golding don't have even a house in Jamaica, but he wants to be Prime Minister 6 days before an election, how did our standards get so low for us to look at this person to say, this is somebody that we would want to run our nation? Somebody says, steady. You and 87 look like twins. Big up 87, my brother. You understand me? I will preach alike same way. We did a show the other day. Yes, sir, I said to you. But family, the fact that no illicit enrichment could have been proven, when Andrew asked him, are you really a Jamaican? It's a good strategy, because even if he's a really Jamaican, I wouldn't know. But whether we know or not, Andrew Holness brought that up and it was good. When it came on to the salary issue, let's talk about it. Put it in there, we could talk now, man. When it came on to the salary issue, you understand me? Andrew Holness said, I never took it. You took it. And we have it on the record to say, Julian, and I heard it from Julian too, when him say, we have no problems. We approve this raise. But Mark Golding came and he weaponized it. And then Mark Golding took the raise, and then Mark Golding said, all right, me go and contribute mine to people who are in need or whatever, something to that effect. Up to this point, there is no records that he did. So when you think about Mark Golding, the flip-flopping and the lying, what we're talking about, is that Mark Golding has shown us that he's a con artist. Mark Golding is nothing but a con man. He's a liar, a manipulator, and a con man. And Jamaica, we would be making a grave mistakes to have all this evidence of this dishonest individual in the person of Mark Golding. He's also very disrespectful. Thank you very much. Talking about the Prime Minister's wife. The man has no respect, and on a matter of respect, you realize how he kept talking about Andrew. Him refused to even said, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Dr. Andrew Holness, you understand me? He refused to dignify this individual. And some years ago, I used to work with a lady, and she said, do you realize why they choose to use the first name basis in a lot of these first world countries when it comes on to dealing with everybody? Them say, yeah, man, make we use the first name. She said, listen to me. They sell it to us as if it is just everybody leveling with each other. But she said, no, very smart lady. She said, no, that's not the why they do it. That's not why they do it. The reason they do it is because they refuse to call us Mr. A lot of them don't want to call us no Mr. or no Mrs. or no Miss. So them choose to go on the first name basis. So when Mark Golding kept talking about Andrew, the leader of Camicom, Andrew, this disrespectful piece of brother. And now you have people that say things about your own wife because you came on stage. You understand me? Somebody say he is uncomfortable addressing a black younger man properly. Thank you very much, Mr. Lex. Very, very important that we don't miss these things, family. Right? So Andrew Holness, deal with him on the constitutional reform. Andrew brought into question. So from a debate standpoint, he totally obliterated Mark Golding. But of course, there are people who are saying that I will say Mark Golding won. Is it TVJ? We know Nationwide same win and CVM. Wanna give me the correct order. Because like I said before, I end up falling asleep on a lot of things, right? See it here now, it look like this document. It gone down. Let me get it up from here, so, right? So I wanted to make a note of that. But the nervousness, the fact that him couldn't answer the question, him couldn't justify the 3.5. Come on, tell me about some other things that you like. I love when Andrew came up with a point and him say, when the rum tell you say you can dance. When he talk about the fact that I don't know what the opposition leader has been drinking. Very effective strategy because allegedly Mark Golding is the kind of man who love to drink. So when Dr. Andrew Holness said that, the people them who know. You see what I said to you? And also, it is a way now to punch him to make him understand. Say, listen, there is no sanity. It doesn't make no sense. You could not be thinking rationally about this 3.5, but we know that it's nothing but a 3.5. So today now, the whole heap, I'm sure there are other things to talk about. Let me just pull up back my notes because I had some specific things that I wanted to talk about, right? Today now, the whole matter came up where bomb scare. Everybody understand that in politics, you try to swing the momentum to you and to get the people them talking, right? Somebody said Nationwide gave it to Dr. Holness. Mark has some serious mental issues. I wouldn't doubt it. You understand me? Somebody say, I like Andrew's performance in the second half of the debate, the way he hit back at Mark Golding. Okay, let us talk about that too. When Julian raised his voice without making points, a lot of them run out and them say, yeah man, Julian won. But when you look at the fact that Julian could not answer the most critical question about the 3.5, right? Then it just tells you that these people, they talk out the two sides of their mouth sometimes. You see what I said to you? So, what was I looking at? Second half of the debate. So the first half of the debate, remember the question that they threw at him, they threw the toughest question at him. That question was supposed to fluster Dr. Andrew Holness from the beginning and then they hit him. But Andrew was smart enough to recognize what they were doing. So he flipped the script. Then once Mark Golding, so what they tried to do with Andrew Holness with that first question was what Andrew Holness did with Mark Golding by setting him up to punch first. Somebody say, to punch first. Once Andrew did that, and I spoke about this earlier on, Mark Golding was weak throughout the rest of the performance. Today you get up now, one bag of birth certificates online. Ended up creating more doubts about whether he is Jamaican than that it had any kind of effect on the debate. It had no effect on the debate in my eyes. It did not swing the momentum. It did not fluster Dr. Andrew Holness. Dr. Andrew Holness may have well known the truth, but because he's an expert debater, he raised the question to make Mark Golding look weak. That's an excellent strategy. So it was not a matter of whether he pull it out and it was true. The next thing, pulling that out on stage, you understand me, at this late stage of the game, 6 days before an election, that can't be effective. And you don't have an updated birth certificate, so where you bring that go? But even see somebody put it out there and say, it look like a Dayton Campbell set him up or Dan Jackson Miller set him up. If you go up there without the birth paper because they know that he don't know what the updated one is. So they set him up to fail. One of the key things we learned from that election last night, is that PNP cannot keep Mark Golding around after this election, So everybody who's been looking to challenge Mark Golding for the leadership of the PNP gonna start putting on an application for tonight. Because as soon as he lose the election, You understand me? Is either he going to buy him plane ticket or if you don't buy already, you understand me? He going to buy him plane ticket and he going to get ready to head out. And we know that that's just a joke, right? PNP for the day. I beg you to vote for Andrew Holness because Mark Golden will be flying out on the 4th. So there is no, you can't, it don't make no sense. You vote for that the Monday again. He will be gone. You understand me? So, the whole heap of winking on the stage. And let me see if I can get some more things. You understand me? Andrew, I love how he explained how the JLP restored the middle class. I love that. I love the fact that he spoke about the JLP gave the public sector workers the best raises. He talked about the fact that the JLP solved the unemployment issues. You understand me? I like how he beat down the fact that, you understand me, the $3.5 million thing is unworkable. Andrew Holness said we would have to grow the economy by about 8% before we can do that. And that is something that we have not done since the 60s. So there's no way it can work. So what we're saying is that Mark Golden has lost all credibility on everything that he has campaigned on. So Jamaica people are have wise enough to know that, as somebody said to me today, what happened on that stage last night, it showed us what we would be voting for. A prime minister that was able to defend himself against false claims about being corrupt. A prime minister that was able to articulate what he has done for Jamaica, such as in his closing speech. A prime minister that was able to show that Mark Golden is really the corrupt one, and who hurt Mark Golden's, damaged, destroyed, and knocked out Mark Golden by showing, by virtue of the points he raised, that Mark Golden is not credible. Not that we never knew, but Andrew needed to point it out. Andrew needed to show us Jamaicans that he would have been willing to stand up and defend himself. But we're happy that he was wise enough to rope a dope them. He played them down to the wire and he used it for destroy Mark Golden. So the reason why you see the noise I make right now, because data and camera run out and I say, oh, the JLP, we're reckless. If you talk about this bomb threat that's been going on, it's not legitimate. But the question we have to ask ourselves is, what motive would the JLP have to do something stupid like that when we have everything going in our favor? We won all the debates. We are performing. Me even say Nationwide throw something in there, because Nationwide make sure say them release the Blue Dot poll today. So Nationwide and the politics too. We have to pay attention to these things, people. You understand me? Somebody said, bless up steady. Bless up David Williams. Mark was looking so uncomfortable and confused, correct? Because one of the things that you judge in a debate, I think, what you call it, the method, the matter, and what the next one? We talked about it the other day, I'm sure. You understand me? The method, the matter, and the manner. So Mark Golden lost on manner because he never looked confident. He was flustered by Dr. Andrew Holness. Not much of a method because it wasn't a teamwork thing. But when it came on to the matter, he was utterly decimated because he was not able to prove his case. So the conversation right now, big up yourself, Steve Donaldson, right? The conversation now has to do with, and this is me now, as somebody who's been in leadership and sales. No matter how much you talk, I remember when I did the first sales job, somebody look at me and say, you're a good talker, but you can't close, right? Today I had a heated conversation with somebody and I said, listen, a lot of people would be surprised by what came out on stage. I've been knowing it, and that's why I've been talking about voting and elections. You see, at this point, it's going to come down to the voting and the elections and what's going to happen. There's a lot of things I'm going to talk about, and who follow the steady show want to know how we talk already, so we're not even have to rush. But I have to put this out there in the algorithm. You understand me? And when we're done, way more people than you're seeing visible now. They come and then pass through, if I even for listen for a while to see. Because just the fact that I put a thumbnail there, I will show the knockout punch, said them will click on it. We understand how this thing works. You see what I said to you? But we will be talking about a lot of different aspects, because what we saw last night, is that This is bigger than even Mark Golden. Let me make this point. I was saying this to my wife earlier on. This is bigger than even Mark Golden. Because Mark Golden tried to defend a track record or lack thereof, a record that the PNP has created in this country. That, as Auburn Hill had said, you know, when him studied the PNP history, it reads like the book of a mafia. It's like a mafia family. Blood and fire, everything we see them do. You see how them function. It's like that because of the history of their corruptions. You can't do something like FinSac and come back. You can't do something like the Iran sugar deal. You can't do something like the Shell waiver scandal. You can't do something like the zinc scandal, the furniture scandal, the traffic guru scandal. We could name out some of them right now, just for the people them who know, and they're all documented there online. For those of you who say, oh, no, I have information, let me tell you, no, go online and pull up, type Google Shame and Scandal Part 1 by Eddie Siaga. And when you've done that, Google Shame and Scandal Part 2 by Edward Siaga. And Edward Siaga will reel out everything. You understand me? Whether it's the furniture scandal, you understand me? Whether it's the zinc scandal, you see what I say? The light bulb scandal. And I can't put them in there if we not taught them yet. All these things, it's been a massive track record. So when you see them on stage and them do what they do, I'm telling you, PNP is trying everything to get their money back on the country's purse. Because anytime they get their hands on the country's purse, they bankrupt the country. And this is something that PNP leaders and the PNP followers, this is something they know. When you hear, one of the things I wanted to bring out of this, and I've said it before, the PNP has weaponized the poor since the 70s when Manley came and bankrupted the country. Somebody said, all liberals need to do is go out and vote early. We need to get every ballot in the box. Yes, let me even stay on that point just for the sake of time. It's going to come down to the election because Labour rights, we're going to tell them I have a problem. Yesterday, I put up a video and this counselor from Crystal Lee's division, she was talking about the fact that people were having issues. I told you all the other day, somebody called me, told me that they were never going to vote. I don't want anybody reaching out to me and telling me how great Andrew Holness is. We all know this. Family, Dr. Andrew Holness and this administration, they've done all the work. In spite of COVID, you have to understand how much the country has had to build back from. You understand me? Mark Golden is talking right now. Basically, he must say, we have enough money in the NIR. We're paying down the debt fast. So no, let's put back money in the hands of people. So basically, party with the rent. That is how PNP has always weaponized the needs of the poor. So when they come up with this fund, that fund, like when they come up with, say, the furniture scandal fund, the hurricane relief fund, it's how they set up all kind of organizations for people to get all kind of funding to do all kind of things. Those funding, them the kind of funding they never really reach to the people. And when you look in the PNP constituencies, you can see that that is what happens. So when we hear Labour rights, I talk about them now go vote. I'm telling you, but just watch what go on in the election. And all I'm asking if you do is deliver the third term. Now, big up to the good-hearted, conscious Labour rights, even who understand that, even at this late stage of the game, if you're having a problem with Dr. Andrew Holness, or if you're having a problem with your MP or anybody, Labour rights, this is not the time to risk the election to talk about you're not going to vote, or your MP never do this, or your MP never do that. We've been doing this for a while now, and a lot of Labour rights, they've been very, very quiet about anything that may have been happening. And for the most part, big up to the JLP, we don't see the same cas in the JLP like we see happen at the PNP all the time. But whether you are a silent voter or you're undecided, a conscious PNP, the people who've been responsible, you understand me, for restoring Jamaica, who's been there to make sure, say, whether JLP or PNP, they come out and them say, no, this thing by Mark Golden now go work. Do not treat Jamaica like Jamaica is some kind of Ponzi scheme. Do not treat your vote. Do not fall for the foolishness. FinSAC was created basically using the same thing that Mark Golan is trying to do right now. Bankrupt the country by putting money in the hands of people. And at 3.5 now go apply to a lot of people either, you know. That's a mention that, you know. Because enough people don't make 3.5, you know. So make we not even go down that the road there, right? They want to wipe out student loan just for votes. 3.5 just for votes. Let's talk about some of the freeness. Agricultural funds just for vote. Rent to own just for vote. $500,000 down payment per house just for vote when there's no house to buy in the first place. All this thing that they're promising. The goodie bag, them pull out the promise goodie bag. The fails and the false promise goodie bag. The scam, the Samfi goodie bag, them pull it out. Unfortunately, enough of you Jamaicans who are going to vote on this. And no matter how we say it's foolishness, who are going to want it because you don't want more money for party with the rent. Do you realize that Dr. Andrew Holness has set the economy? I'm going to drink some of this because we're getting ready to close. Dr. Andrew Holness has set up the economy in such a way that regardless of who you are and where you come from, things can be better. We have things that set up right now for build generational wealth. Clinic are set up, hospital are set up. You understand me? Oh, we cannot vote out having every city having their own economy. We cannot vote that out to get some money for a party with. We cannot vote out, we can vote in a government that will get rid of the school bus system just so that we can get more money for buy Clarks and for buy Hennessy and for buy rum and boom. Because those are the people they are targeted with this, you know, even when none of them now got benefit, you know. Thank you very much. Donald said, you are giving the votes to the PNP if you don't go out and vote. Laborites who don't vote, you're just giving them the chance to win. There are two sides to the coin. Withholding your votes, it means to say, with all of the efforts when me I put out Dujan, JPU, Michelle, Karen Cross, Munchie B, Jamaica 87. You know, can name them out if I forget some of them. Father Paul, Wife Style, Son with Your Politics and Lifestyle blog, Protecting JA, Classic 87. Name out the JLP channel, them and the people them who do JLP. Whether they end up on TikTok, you understand me, or whether they end up on YouTube. It really means that all the efforts that we've put into creating show after show after show after show, we do research after research after research. Mr. Dujana run live day and night. We've been working overtime. The JLP has been working overtime. The JLP has done everything. The media has been against us. Everybody has been against us. Labor rights, we cannot be foolish and talk about we're not going to go out and vote. Because one of the things that the lady said yesterday, she said she admires it. A councillor said it on social media. She said, I admire PMP voters because it don't really matter what happened. Them say even if them put a dog in an orange, then go vote for the dog. Elections is a numbers game, labor rights. And that explains why at this juncture, if you notice, me cool off of some of the shows them and some of the topics them. We will get back to talking about elections and talk about seats and all of that. Family, this is the time to act. I want to say big up. Somebody linked me last night. I am happy I remember to say this. Somebody linked me last night and say steady, me dep on my flight. I'm a flight, me depend. I want to say big up to that subscriber. Show a labor rights. She says, steady, I'm a flight, me depend right now. Wanna green up the chat if me a talk good no man. Wanna hit the like button, man. Get me, man. A reason where a reason now, you know. Because you know, say at some point in the show, we talk about the topic. There is so much to uncover and to unpack that today, I couldn't even, never even put out nothing about the closing speech. I am literally re-watching the thing just so that I can even fathom not just the skillful performance of Dr. Andrew Holness, but what has been exposed just by Mark Golding being on that stage. Mark Golding, labor rights, has proven to us that he is the kind of person that can lie in your face, and even when you prove it, say the man a lie, the man still lie. I see the labor rights greening up the chat, so I see that you get it. Get me to 150 likes. I'm seeing 195. Thank you. It makes me feel encouraged. Want to do things like this. At action time now, labor rights. At action time. This is the time to get on the phone with your nieces and your nephews, your son or your daughter. Once them are voting age and they can vote, get them to the polling station. If them dep on the voters list, get them to go and vote, because the PNP gonna do everything. And let me tell you this, why you think so we had the BOMB scared today? This is not even about which side it is coming from. That's why I'm telling you, say, I got to leave the hype alone so I can get people to think. The other day, me and TV man, we did a show and we talk about when PNP wanted to meet with the taxi men, that it was an act of voter suppression. We are already hearing stories about people a leave and dish a constituency and them a pack up so that them can target certain constituencies. I'm telling you, we might have some surprises on election day. So may I ask that a lot of efforts be put into safeguarding the election. Right? Right now, anything that has information, whether it's a EOJ, you saw what Dayton Campbell did the other day. Dayton Campbell come out and talk about him go have some kind of integrity, what, marker or pen, you can correct me. Dayton Campbell should have been kicked off the ECJ board immediately for putting something out of that, because that is spreading misinformation which could result in people not showing up to vote. It is voter suppression. When you talk about taxi man, nothing carry labor rights, it is them trying to stop votes from getting into the box. If they're going to come up with bomb scare, a scare, they want to scare off labor rights as if them can do what they did back in the day to get people to not go out and vote. This is what they're trying to do. Thank you very much, Rose Henry. Integrity lamps. You understand me? That is the work of the ECJ or the EOJ. I for them job that. There was another story that came out. If you don't know the story, throw it in now, because we are tied the story if you make you understand that this is really serious. Listen to me. On election day, big up Cinderella Watt and everybody. On election, Elements Grill, everybody that's there. Big up to everybody who forward. I'm never big enough. Everybody that can vote, go out early and vote. Dr. Andrew Holness and this JLP administration, they've been doing it for years. They've done it for us. Now it's time for us to do it for them. This is our time to act. This is our time to act. It's an action time. This come like we've been to enjoy school all this time, but the exam is coming up soon. The exam is coming there. September 3 is exam day. I will know some people already. They're very confident that they're going to pass the exam. So they don't study. But a lot of times we are surprised by the people who them approach the thing with wisdom. You understand me? They approach the thing with wisdom, and they make sure that they do what they know they need to do, because election day is already coming. Are you prepared to meet election day? Do you realize that at the blood and fire comrades thing, we can assume, based on what they've been doing and what they've been saying, we can assume that's what the evidence, it's circumstantial evidence. No, the politicians who sit down in a parliament are for them job to talk about the semantics of politicizing things and being careless and reckless. Nobody's been more careless and reckless than PNP. It is our job to tell you what it is at the end of the day, and to still do it in such a way that they can put you in a court. So we say allegedly. The evidence points to it because it is consistent with everything PNP has been doing on stage. Blood and fire. If a war, a war. All the things they've been saying on stage. When bomb threat forward, Margolin say get wicked pan them. And the labor rights now go get it up so easy. You can put it in the chat now, the other statements that are out there. All being well, I am going out early to vote. Thank you. Please, labor rights. Me no want, nobody with the hype on election day. As a matter of fact, nobody even wear no green for election day. If you don't want to. If you don't want to do it, not do it. But if you don't uncomfortable to do it, you just quietly vote. And the next thing again, pay attention to the process of the EOJ and make sure you don't leave until your vote gets into the box. And anything that looks like, and make sure so on a mark on an X inside of the box and not mess up on a ballot. Right? Do everything to make sure, like this is the time now to be wise. We have to be wise down to the ballot. Because at the end of the day, at the ballot, that the box is going to count, not our opinions of how great Andrew Holness is. How great Andrew Holness is. Siaga was great. Them still vote him out. Somebody said, all being well, I'm going out early. You understand me? People are going to do what they have to do. The voting part of this thing is very, very serious. Everybody have to make sure that they actively participate. Right? So family, we knew they've been lying all along. We knew they were lying all along. You see what I said to you? We knew they were lying all along. But guess what? There is no law against lying if it's not lying on a level where somebody can bring a legal case against you. PNP know that more than anybody else. If you don't go out and vote, you are risking allowing a liar and a con artist to come take over Jamaica. If you don't go out and vote, you are risking mashing up Jamaica. So I said this to somebody. I'm going to say it right here. So because when we're ready to speak the truth, we're going to speak the truth. Right? I say, I tell us a performance management background me come from. And in my book, I have to look at everything that's an impediment to performance. I don't see things any different. Right? And I'm telling you, if you're a labor right and you don't exercise your right to vote, I'm not gonna try to guilt trip you or anything. Right? If you don't look at this moment, especially if you're somebody who believes or you know, I'm telling you, whatever challenges you're having, don't. I always tell people, if you have problems, say it before. Reach out to your MP, reach out to your workers, reach out to your friend them. If you think there's a problem that will stop you from vote, you understand me? Talk about it. Don't come back and tell us that you never voted because. I understand that some people can't go out and vote because of different circumstances. Me not forward to come vote. And I can tell you that for personal reasons. But I've given my time. I've given my efforts. You understand me? To pump up everybody and talk. I can't come and vote. No. Why I can't come and vote, that's not something I'm going to put out on the internet. And I could give you a lot of reasons why. But could I look at I tell you, I am in Ed Bartlett's constituency. You understand me? Everybody knows, say, it's safe. You understand me? And we're not just putting it right there. like that, right? But there are things that I won't disclose over here. So, but certain things are just a given. So now look on Steady and tell Steady, say, because Steady now go come vote, then Steady can't talk to it. Steady a taxpayer in Jamaica. Right? So I would have loved to, but circumstances are not going to allow me to. Anybody who watch the show, I don't know, we have a 1-year-old baby, right? And a lot of other circumstances that surround that, right? But that's out the way. Now dismiss me, man, when me say, you have to go and do it. Because you do it for me, you do it for you, you do it for your family. Whoever can vote, go out and vote. So big up to the labor rights who will be flying down to vote. And we're not using that as an opportunity to disrespect and to chastise those who genuinely cannot make it like myself. Thank you very much. Family, let me tell you something. Sometimes people don't understand, you know. And I tell you, I am waiting for some particular moments in time to share some information with the show. But like Andrew Holness, some things I understand that you kind of make them wait. I'm telling you, family, this voting thing is important. Nobody not paying me for come on the internet to come talk and to defend the Labour Party like that. I don't get paid to do what I do, right? I pay to do this because me see it. And I can tell you this. I'm not boast about nobody, but I'm going to be real. I know nothing people like Vegas I look out of the politics why them go vote necessarily, you know. The only thing many people are look for is that we don't have government instability in the country because those who can vote don't go out and vote. A lot of us, and it's like, we'll look anything from the Labour Party, you know. And like I said, we'll look anything directly like PNP. We're doing this for the love of country because here's the thing with, here's a problem with PNP, and this here's big part of my passion, right? Everybody knows that once life gets a little better, you start to look at things differently. Everybody understand when they couldn't afford to buy one Clark's. They couldn't afford to buy this and you couldn't afford to buy that. You never get your house yet, you never get your car yet. And some people not do it yet. So especially for people who you not even have a lot of things in place yet. And we out here, so who probably would have make some progress in our life before. You understand me? Just to put it out there. Make some things, achieve things in our life already. And we are preached to you like a Paul, like free life depend on it. We are only afraid of government instability, you know. We're not looking for anything. We're not looking for no handouts or anything. We're doing this because we want to leave a legacy of information for the future generation to say, listen to me, this PNP is in business. It has to stop. We cannot keep wrecking the country. And when I'm looking at the history, I know the PNP, them, a lot of time I hear a lady said the other day, and I'm just going to talk this out. Right? The lady said, we decide when elections are won. PNP woman, I said that too. Somebody said, blog and vote to save Jamaica from destruction. Thank you very much. You understand me? The lady say, we decide by election. Me one next one come out. It come them show off, PNP show off. It come like when Alun Asamba was confident enough to say, I challenge the business community to set up the civic committee, and it's called a civic committee for a reason, but I will make sure it's full of PNP people because we have our own agenda. The PNP has had Jamaica under siege. So the people that have risen up in this time, you never see so much people. People are black from the USA, England, Canada, all about in the world. People who not even live in the struggle in Jamaica right now. But of course, we have our own struggles living under the government in this country. Because in these countries, you now understand that your vote is very serious. You saw what just happened the other day. Let's start now, man. Right? So there are a lot of things what governments do. Government policy can mash up with life. That's what happened under the old JLP. Or old PNP rather. You understand me? Government policy mash up with life. failure of people who can vote mash up Jamaica. So, I'm not going to flag this like a dead horse because I'll be saying this. I'm going to be saying this up till election day. You understand me? But family, on the question of the debate, because I'm getting ready to close, Andrew Holness decimated Mark Golden. But let's use it as a sign now that the next move is Jamaica's. Andrew, thank you, Rose Henry. Excuse me. Big up in a Ramona. You understand me? Big up, fam. Yeah, man. The next move is for the voters who can vote. And let me tell you how this go right now. If you can vote, Father Paul did say this. If you have your nieces, your nephew, and your friend, get in the WhatsApp group with them. Talk to them and say, listen, please look at the bigger picture. So if you can do it, talk to somebody. Get your friend them on a huddle up together. As a matter of fact, on a walk in a groups just to make sure that we're good too. Right? Go and vote resoundingly for the Jamaica Labour Party. I also want to say big up to the conscious comrades them who will not be voting. Big up to the ones who will be giving Dr. Andrew Holness the vote. You understand me? Big up to the labor rights who going to go the extra mile. Just tell yourself that this is going to be an extra mile election. Somebody say, you are so right. That is the reason I started voting since 2007. Thank you, Davnet. Right? Just tell yourself, say, 2 or 3. Even have the conversation. Look for your friend, the easiest, the most laid-back one who don't want to be bothered. If you have your car, offer to bring them in your car. You understand me? Offer to do something. Get the votes in the box. Right? I am not even concerned about how many seats we're going to win, even though I'm very concerned about it. Because I don't want PNP winning back a lot of these seats, and I don't want JLP losing these seats. Because the more PNP, we have a problem, right? But at this point, I'm asking you, let us get to that 32. Let us do everything to make sure we get at least 32 in there, right? And then after that, now we can continue to count, right? I want to see us seal that election, not so we can laugh after PNP, Not just so that we can prove that Andrew got the 3rd term. It's bigger than that. But just so that we can secure Jamaica. You see what I said to you? Just so that we can secure Jamaica land we love. There's no way that we can afford to go to put this great country in the hands of the PNP. Right? We paid a big price for it when we threw away a good 60s and we voted manly in the 70s. We paid a hefty price, an even bigger price, when we voted out Siaga 89 and we let back in PNP. Thankfully, Portia forward and she did a little better. You understand? And JLP took it over. And we've learned through this Jamaica Labour Party that there's a lot more that could have been done with our tax-paying dollars. Let us not forget that the 90s were booming. The economies around the world, they were doing great in the 90s. So it's not like things were so tough in the 90s. The reason why we had over 44,000 businesses that went down is just to show you that we were booming at one point. But because of bad voting decision, all of that went down. You understand me? I said to you. So, family, I have to talk like this, and not everybody like the uncomfortable talk because they know they're going to vote already. But I am not really preaching to the people who know that they're going to vote already. No, you don't have to worry about that. I'm talking about the people who still think this is a joking matter. May I say, do not risk Jamaica going under and getting back in the hands of the PNP. You think with all this embarrassment that Mark Golden has experienced and Peter Bunting has experienced, we've seen Dayton Campbell and we see what the people in Western Westmoreland seem to be indicating. On every front, we see that what the polls are saying. You see what I say? On every front, The PNP has failed in their campaigns. They're not looking good. So they're going to do what they do best. They're going to bring, them going to fight until the very last ballot. I did say a few weeks ago, me say, a whole heap of foolishness going to go on. But in the foolishness, we can't just get caught in the foolishness. We have to also recognize what's behind the foolishness and what action we need to take. Because listen, family, I hope the security forces will be very strategic. I hope the government will be doing everything to safeguard the elections, and I hope everything will be done to make sure that them not come wrestle democracy out of hand. Because at the level at which Mark Golden lying, that the man Mark Golden only try to use democracy because he can't get to take the power of Jamaica. If Mark Golden could have find some other way and means to become the leader of this country and to make sure he put things in place to make sure that nobody can challenge his leadership. You understand me? Because he's that kind of guy. He did it to PNP. Right? He's the kind of guy who, if he can get it in any other way, and do it. He got rich through FinSac. What was FinSac? He was not able to argue back against that. So I make sure I don't go live often in a family. But when me forward, I'm talking a live. I speak on the topic, but I plant a lot of information. So I don't just react to the news, because the newspaper or the general media, they have their own agenda. There are many things they are not highlighting. The Glean have been campaigning for Andrew Holness. The civic groups, everybody, they've been campaigning against the Prime Minister. Campaign against the JLP because they were the ones who benefited from PNP corruption and PNP dirty policies that has affected all the people. Now that you see that they're fighting so hard, them want back the same policies whereby a few at the top, they get the biggest part of the wealth. And the few at bottom, they get a little bit, and they hold the reins of power, and then they decimate the middle class again. Because remember, you know, the decent ones like me and you, we are the real targets them in the election, you know. We are the ones that have to wipe out because they know, so we know who they are. So what them do now is that them lean pan feed them people them. Real desperado them elements grill. Them a lean pan them blood and fire strategies to scare off good, decent people so that you don't act. I want you to sit down. I want you to think about it tonight, on the weekend, and for the very day to the election. And I want you to make sure you play, because I'm telling you, if labor rights, because the stats will show what happened, you know. If labor rights, you know, if we fail to act and lose this election, then I'm telling you this. Just like I'm going to spend the last year I beat PNP, I want to going to beat next year. You understand me? But I love to act based on data. Right? I talk to you before, if you say you can act. Get to know to the problem. This I like the parents and beat you and discipline you. You never like it, no, but later you see the benefits. Let us win the election, and then we could come back and talk about how steady, miserable, and in flag we every day, right? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what we never like and what we don't like about JLP, PNP with MP, or even steady, or anybody for that reason. We can't talk about that. But no, one family, one cause, one team, one aim, one purpose, one destiny, and that is third term for Dr. Andrew Holness and the Jamaica Labour Party. Family, with that being said, I want to say big up, enough respect, and thank you. You may not have heard what you wanted me to talk about based on what you observed in the debate, but remember, I'm going to give you the opportunity. I also may have missed it, because even though I'm there talk, I'm trying to be quick because I understand that I started late, and that's on me, right? I'm happy that I never schedule a show and then end up falling asleep. Thank you for the people green up the chat. Green up the chat and give me some love, man. Show me some I appreciate what we talk about tonight. Thank you, family. You understand me? I am always going to be the one to have the tough talk, you know. But at the end of the day, we're going to sit down and we're going to drink together. We're going to eat together because it's all love. When you love people, you chastise them. You don't lie to them. Andrew did talk about the bitter medicine already, you know. And we never liked it, but he was talking the truth. You see me? I said to you, me see the green them, so me I feel the love right now. Show our labor rights. Thank you, family. So, to everybody who forward, man. Elaine, Carlson, Eugita, you understand me? Davnet. I'm just reading names as I see it go right now. I see everybody greening up the thing right now. Big respect, man. You understand me? I want to say happy Sabbath, Eugita. You always say it. Happy Sabbath to everybody. But family, we ought to be so proud of what happened last night. Andrew has defended himself against everybody. If there was, the song would say, one man against the world. That's the man. But this man was not fighting against conviction. The man is fighting against accusation. True JLP winning the blogging war. Thank you, Miss Bones. I appreciate that. Somebody say, yes, we are very happy. Green team, the better team. Always. Put in some love in the comments. Let me see right now. This one man against the world, he's not fighting against conviction. He's fighting against the Toppanaris, the wicked newspaper, the media. You understand me? The British man who want to come take over Jamaica and crash the economy again. Do you realize that when the economy crash and they go back to them high interest rate policy and you can't pay and you can't get no loan, that's how you end up lose your house and your car. Do you realize that? Anybody realize that that was what FinSac was in the first place? You bankrupt the banks, the businesses, the individuals, right? When you bankrupt all of them and them, you mash up their credit, they can't pay them loan. Late fee and interest rates are compound. People still pay. Because I have a lady me talk to, you know, the president, you know. We have some people we're going to be talking about. So I'm hearing the stories, you know. I just said strategically selection, so I already talk about it. But somebody said there was a man who had 17 properties in St. James. 17. 17 properties. He said, how that man went out? He said, just tell your wife, say, listen. And this is somebody that was on Mutty Perkins all the while, so we are talking about real things. He said, just tell your wife, say, listen. Just to give me no more food. Stop eating. That's how he went out, right? Because of FinSac. We heard about the couple who dirt themselves because of FinSac. Other business person. The lady tell me, went up to a particular area. Somebody called me and said they might come from my house. We see a lot of that in a book that named Too Black to Succeed. They might come from my house. She say, I'm just going to come and give you the support I can. And she said, when the people come for the woman house in a big area, she said the woman peep up herself upon the spot. Another man, businessman, a drive go some place, and he said one mind tell him, say, listen, just go back to the house, because God speak to us like that sometimes, right? And give thanks to those who been praying for the JLP and Joe Holness, because we're seeing the results, right? Man said we didn't go back to the house, went on the back porch, say, and wife that with a gun our head. So that man almost lost his wife because of FinSac. So, now come tell we about this was 30 years ago. People lost their houses in the 2000s. Even 2005, Mark Golden have case upon them. Remember, them have money to pay and buy out a lot of people, too, so there's that. But Jamaica, a lot is at stake. I've said a lot of things, and thank you for the love. I never mean to go back to this, but I just talk out of my heart because I just wanted to understand. But I think the message has been delivered, so I can green up a chat again. I'm not going to be able to play. I doubt I can play any song tonight because my system is not working too well. But family, I want to say, heart of love, never short of love. I want to say thank you to everybody that came out tonight. You understand me? Let us do the right thing. Let us act. Let us go vote and give the Jamaica Labour Party the third term. Show our labor rights. Everybody, have a great night, and thank you so much for watching The Steady Show. Blessed love.